trying to be more than the name I show. At the end of the day, I'm just Joe. I don't wear no crown, don't claim no throne. Just fire up the rig and farm on my own. Got a virtual field and a hard day's plan. Growing digital crops with a real man's hand. No fancy intro, no flashy show. Just a quiet stream where the work gets slow. Y'all can keep the hype and high dollar flow. I'm here in my lane, just riding low. I'm just Joe, planting rows on the screen. A pixelated farm and a diesel dream. Ain't no script, just the way it goes. Turning dirt to gold, yeah, I'm just Joe. Streaming sun up to moonlight's glow. With a chat full of folks that I've come to know. No gimmicks, no games, no polished show. Just a bearded dude with a plow, just Joe. Late nights on Nadenthal, daylight on.
What's going on, folks? Minimize this. Hey, we got Zach in the chat. If anybody can hear him, say something. Let me see if Zach's showing this time. Do it again. It's not. They can't hear you. I don't have a clue why they can't hear you. It's showing that it's. Give me a second, y'all. I'll be right back, Zach. What the hell? It's not picking it up again. There we go. Try now.
What's up? What's up?
Okay, they can hear you now. Hey, Noah, how you doing? Jason, Zach. Well, Zach's here. For some reason, it changed it to like any AWCC something or other. As this title says, going to be doing some hay. Did I miss anybody? Jason. Hey, Mars, how you doing? Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Get down here and start baling hay. Don't have a lot of time. We got storms coming in this afternoon, so figured I'd.
It ain't fast money. It's outlaw money.
Figured I'd get in here and stream a little bit before the storms get here, because I'm not risking my computer once the storms get here. I lose power way too often.
I ain't the kind to raise my voice for show, but I'll stand my ground if you push too.
I already made it, Noah. If you learn to listen and read chat, you'd know that. I sat there and asked you to stay in here yesterday to fucking play it for, but I'm gonna tell you right now, dude, if you keep it up with the crap, I'm not gonna talk to you. And dude, you harp on a subject continuously.
Red, white, and blue.
I played it for you yesterday 3 times, and all 3 times you were off in someone else's chat, fucking talking to them. You'd be in here and I'd say, hey Noah, hang out, I'm gonna play this for you, and then you'd just instantly leave and go somewhere else. Dude, I mean, I don't mean to sound like an ass, dude, but you don't have to harp on a subject. Where are you at, underfunded? Because I seen where they were saying there were storms on the East Coast last night, but I'm in Oklahoma. You're in Florida, right? That's what I think. Sure, Florida. I don't remember. Ah, crap. I said it to do tiny ass bells. Oh, Kansas. Okay. Does this one even have a different size bell? What's up, Ian? There's
What up,
somebody
Ian?
there's someone in Florida that has the name something THC. So I get people confused. What's up, Bed? It looks like we got storms coming from Kansas. It's only going to be 101 today, you know. The storm's going to lower it. We had tornado 15 miles away, Indiana. We continuously get tornadoes here, usually early spring and fall. Haven't had too many during the summer, but when we do, they're bad. Okay, I changed the bell size, didn't I? Yeah, 180 centimeters. I don't know. Maybe they just look small because I'm used to what's the next size up. 61, hell. Nah, I didn't know. I thought it was, and then I seen it said Florida that time, so hell, I didn't know. What's up, Cole? See how he is, sitting there coming in under names they don't even know, man. These bells look tiny. Oh, look, red, white, and blue. Crap. Hell, I saw that actually the other day when I was out by, where the hell were me and the wife at? Oh, down by Shakota. There was a whole damn truck with red, white, and blue wrapped bells. What's up, Joey? How's it going, man? Sorry I didn't hang out in your stream earlier, dude. I had to freaking deal with a bunch of crap. I wanted to stop in for sure, give you a like and everything. I left it playing for a while. Dude, I do too. I got a flash drive somewhere here in the house with all my passwords on it. Or I'd be screwed. It seems like every time I get on the damn computer, everybody and their mother wants to start emailing me, calling me, texting me. Dude, the grass on this map just, I don't know. It said it was 4 of 4 when I cut it, but it just doesn't seem to put out as much. Well, I don't know. I changed my grass back. I don't know. Just doesn't seem to be as much grass on this map. But I got the Vermeer baler and that Fiat tractor. I think it's Fiat. Yeah, Fiat. Fix it again, Tony. I got Zach in voice and he ain't even talking. He's just quietly farming away. He started playing on this map today on his own game, so. This map's interesting. What do you do with Poppy? Anybody played a map that has Poppy? Is it just a grass? Well, I know you make heroin out of Poppy someday. The storms came through and cooled it off. Yeah, they're saying we got about 4 days. Is it Thursday, no, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I think Monday that's supposed to be the high, is supposed to be like 90. Well, ain't that why we raided over there overseas, was to control them poppy fields for the CIA? Oh shit, I ain't supposed to talk about that.
He's just a
Gotta fund our America, right?
with a busted cap brim, boots too big, but he grew right into them. Ain't afraid of sweat. Ain't
Brian was
scared
making
of
fun of my
dirt.
damn fertilizer tractor this
He
morning.
don't whine
Called it a board with a motor and
when
4
his
wheels.
back starts to hurt. First one up,
It works, that's all that matters.
rooster crows, knows every gate,
And here's your song, Noah.
every fence post road. Might be
Damn Brian making fun of my tractor, I swear.
but he's built like a man. That boy knows
What's up, pig?
a hell of a hand. He'll grease that bell or chase down strays, throw square bells in the heat all day, fix a line.
My immersion.
Zach.
Hey, in a flatbed van, ain't no quitting, no other farmhand. Yeah, he shows up when the work gets real. Hard hat, heart, and hands of steel. Give him a job. He
My
won't ask
erosion.
twice. He'll have it done clean and done real nice.
So what is erosion or immersion?
Run that deep.
False. It was funny when Sassy said the other night, she goes, my immersion, and it almost sounded like Cole.
Back it in tight. Pull straight through.
Yeah.
He don't talk.
Gotta try to make some money on here, don't I?
Lets the work speak loud.
That sounded familiar. Yeah.
All of his hits. He makes folks proud.
Yeah.
Old timers night. When he drives by. Say that boy's got vomit in his eyes. He'll grease that bell or chase
Just a little
down
familiar, huh,
strays,
Cole?
throw
Just a
square
little.
bells in the heat all day. Fix a line, feed the herd, haul hay in a flatbed van. Ain't no quitting, no other farmhand. Yeah, he shows up when the work
Are you on Discord, Noah?
hard hat, heart, and hands of steel. There's folks twice his age still learning the ropes, but Noah just smiles and gets up the slopes. Ain't looking for
Caveman's a dork, do-do-do-do-do. Caveman's a dork.
make his granddad.
You can tell Zach's not listening to the stream. He's just having fun.
Wrangle the cows, climbing the loft when the sky clouds down. Ain't scared of storms.
Are you in Daisy's Discord? If so, what's your name over there? I'll find you. Because I don't even know what the hell mine's listed as over there. Well, I know what my name is, but I don't know what thing to find it is.
You call Noah,
HB, okay.
that boy's your right hand man.
What's up, David? Just trying to get a little stream in before the storms get here. Ain't looking forward to them, but we need the rain. A week, 2 weeks ago, I'd have said we don't need the rain. Now I'm saying we need the rain. I'll send it to you over on Discord, Noah. This damn tractor set, you set too high in this seat.
Yeah. bad move.
I don't even think
Freaking
with left
exhaust.
shift action. I don't even think with that left shift action fucking thing would make it set lower as high as this one sits. But I do like that it has the windows down in front of the wheels, so you can see the wheels, front tires. Hey, Andrew. Sorry, y'all. I'll be right back, y'all. I gotta handle something. Sorry about that, y'all.
Security is a leash they let you
What's
wear.
up, Crotch Dog?
Obedience is the new religion.
Watch Kitty.
Go back to school August 4th. I thought you said the 6th, Joe. What's up, Chaos? Oh, Crotch Dog. I don't remember. I think it's under settings. You click the little gear icon down there in the bottom and then go to account information. I think that's where you change it. I did it like 2 weeks ago, but I don't remember, dude. I've smoked since then. Everybody knows that. I've smoked myself stupid a few times since then.
They sell you chains with a smile.
For Discord settings, you can set name for profile and also set. Yeah, he's trying to change his display name over there, his account name. I think it's under settings, profile information. I'm sure you do, Jason. Oh, you go back on the 14th now, Joe? Shit, then. You got 2 more weeks with us, man. Before you have to start going to bed at 8 o'clock at night, and I have to start streaming at 7 a.m. so you can watch me on the school bus. I don't fuck all about Discord. I can barely log into it. You younger bucks know more about it than I do. And about as far as I got with messengers was like freaking Yahoo Messenger back in the day. You started school at 8 o'clock this time. Well, yeah, you're in what? You're going into high school now, right, Joe? 9th grade? No more middle school for you. Little turtles growing up, y'all. I had mine basically set up, but I didn't understand any of the bots and stuff like that. Ruby set all that up. I made all the channel names and stuff, but I didn't understand any of the mechanics behind it.
I got friends where the nights get long and we raise our glass when we raise our wrongs.
You'll do great there, Joe.
And the outlaws sing, and nobody asks why you lost your ring. You got grace and high class chases, but me, I'm just fine. Raised on rowdy places.
Hey, Seeking Your Soul, how you doing?
Back and let the fools judge. I ain't changing just to earn your love. You left clean, I stayed contagious, still proud.
At least you're not as old as Farmer Jay. I mean, that man farts dust.
Raised on rowdy places.
I actually don't mind this for Mirror Baylor.
All aboard. Everybody's married now or moving out, flipping fixer-uppers or chasing clout. I'm still working late at the corner store.
You know what, Jason? I hope you stub your pecker on the toilet seat. I really do. Fuck that snuff.
And I say yeah with a soda can in hand. You blink and the world just flies away.
I literally hope you go sit on the toilet and slam your pecker in the fucking lid, man. You start that snow shit up again in the middle of summer. Nobody lives in the asshole of America because they want snow.
At the same damn street. Saw my ex at the grocery line. She looked right through me, felt just fine. She said some folks change and some just stay. I said
Neither.
fine gold, some melt away. Their suits don't fit me anyway. I got my friends and my vendor case. Don't need a house.
Snow might not be too bad if the idiots around here knew how to deal with it, dude, but our town's not even prepared for it. They don't clean the roads, they don't plow the streets, they do nothing. They don't plow the highway, they don't plow nothing. Like, from Main Street west on Okmulgee, the main road, it's clear because it's part of the highway system and the state comes in and maintains it. But on my side of Maine, the city don't do nothing. We might be lucky they put slurry down. Neither, Andrew. I use keyboard. Hey, dude. I got a steering wheel, I just don't hook it up.
Still walking down the same damn street, same dumb town, same offbeat. While they toast to settle down and right, I'm playing bars and living nights. Yeah, I'm still proud, still never tame, still throwing gas.
Damn steering wheel, pedals, side panel, all that's literally sitting in a box like 4 feet from me.
At the same damn
It's just WASD.
still screaming now. Same damn street.
That's what I'm saying, Cole, but you know, the good old boy system always prevails. They'll cite you if your grass gets over 10 inches tall. If your truck sits in one place for too long. If your dog barks, they won't maintain the roads.
For the sake
Dude, the damn potholes on the streets in this town will change your radio station, man.
when it steps on my rise.
Kind of like that Facebook meme.
But I ain't
Road,
gonna
your vehicle has to be roadworthy, but
But
the
the roads don't have to be vehicle worthy.
yeah.
Well, you know, in England they drive on the right or the left side of the road. In the U.S., we drive on what's left of the road.
flag in the land where a man shakes your hand, it still means what he stands. This country country's been twisted by suits and their games, but the fire still burns in these backwoods.
Oh, so you're going to see what Jay's doing, huh?
I'll stand my ground, I won't back down. This is my home, my blood, my town. 3% strong, we ain't for sale. When liberty calls, we don't tuck tail. Don't
Hey, look, I changed the button.
want a crown, but I'll raise
It doesn't tell you to hit the like button no more.
bound. Hard
I had to change that because Zach kept trying to hit me in the butt.
proud, stand my ground. I ain't asking for trouble, but I ain't playing dead.
Is it ever going to come out?
I was taught to use my heart and the leg. If they come to take what ain't theirs to take, they'll find out quick how real men break. I keep my powder dry, my boots in the dirt. I pray for peace, but I'll fight through hurt. It ain't about war, it's about what's right, and I won't let darkness steal our light. I'll stand my ground, I won't back down.
I'll keep an eye on it. I don't know if I'll play it. Lord knows I'll download it like I do every other freaking mod. Because, you know, I get that itch if a mod comes out, I have to have it.
Hard, proud, and I'll damn sure stand my ground. You can push a man, you can test his soul, but the ones who built this land, they don't fold. I'll stand my ground, I won't back down. This is my
And I don't mind this little Baylor too bad.
my town. 3% strong, loud and clear. We ain't going anywhere but here. You want our guns, you want our voice.
And the flashers actually work on it, unlike some.
We ain't your choice. I'm oath-bound, hard, proud, and I'll damn sure stand my
Hey, Possum, how you doing? Hey, Rax. Hey, Richard. Starting to get too much equipment for this place. Come on.
I still wear these worn out chucks.
You can tell I wasn't ever in a
Still
truck.
scream songs in my beat up truck. Bills in the mail.
I can't back up for shit.
Don't read 'em. 'Cause I still chase the high.
Yeah, that's good enough for me.
They say I should settle down, but I kinda like burning out. I'm still 17 in my head. Lost my dreams and a floor for a bed. No white picket life, no clean routine. I'd rather stay loud than live unseen. Wrinkles and rage, caffeine and strain.
Well, that sucks. Oh, Jesus. Sorry about that, y'all.
In my bloodstream.
I don't know. They were just saying storms after 4. Julian, how you doing? Here, I'll blind y'all for a minute. Hey, Zach, look at that.
That trailer is ridiculous.
Horrible. I'm actually seeing stars. Weird. Operating position? Is that what I put it in? Yep, apparently that's what I put it. Oh crap! I can't change this one because it's not universal auto load, and it's putting the bells through the trailer. That looks great, don't it? Through the trailer. Don't worry, you're gonna see realistic on the multiplayer since the damn straps are screwed
But I ain't
up.
done living loud yet.
Will it do double rows? Oh, thank goodness. Maybe I can get the whole damn field in one run. Stay away from those tiny ass bells that I did at first. Sorry it's dark, y'all, but if I turn the stupid lights, oh, there's high enough bells.
Sunday morning, church at night, flag on the porch and a rebel spine.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting them.
Much, but it means what he says, and he don't back down or forget his dead. When freedom calls, he'll answer fast with a Bible in one hand and a shotgun grasp. You can burn our fields, try to break our will, but you'll find out we're standing still. 'Cause we're still standing tall with our boots in the dirt. Ain't afraid to bleed, ain't afraid to hurt. You knock us down, we rise up twice with a glare in our eyes like fire on ice. So if you cross that line,
Here, misses.
we'll fall. You'll meet
Well, that ain't good, man.
of the eagle. Still standing tall.
Now I gotta figure out somewhere to store these. And look at that. It's putting the bells inside the bells.
Granddad fought in 44.
What's going on, Brian?
Beach and settled the score. Daddy marched
If you can't find that oxbow, let me know, Brian. I'll send it to you.
home strong with a soldier's calm. Now wear this flag on my right sleeve, and I'll fight like
I can't remember if it's one that I paid for or not.
my name spit in my face, but I won't
I was supporting the guy for a while, but
my place.
he went psycho on Facebook on me.
Don't break, we build and defend, we fight for our home to the bitter end. Yeah, we're still standing tall with our boots in the dirt. Ain't afraid to bleed, ain't afraid to hurt. You knock us down, we rise up twice with a glare in our eyes like fire on ice. So if you cross that line and think we'll fall,
Hey, Roosters.
you'll meet the soul of the eagle. Still standing tall. We don't need no fancy praise. We just thank God for the good old days. From
If I've missed anybody that came in here, I apologize.
we hold this ground with calloused
Yeah, that's a UFO right there. I think I might have one bell left on the field, and I gotta go back. What's up, JD?
knock us down, we rise up proud. We speak soft, but we fight loud. So if you come for our freedom, heed the call. You'll face the fire of the free. Still standing tall.
Now it's going to tell me some bullshit like, oh, you can only have one size of bell at a time on this tray. But it puts these bells.
I stood on a hill where the wind don't talk. Just hums like it seemed too much.
18 people, hell yeah.
A hawk flew by with nowhere to go. Even silence needs a crush.
Hey JB, did you get that mod switcher to work or whatever the hell it's called? Mod assist. I like it so far, but I haven't really done a whole lot on it.
I carved my name in a rusted
I came in with only 500k because I figured, oh, they'll start me with equipment.
watched it flame.
They didn't start me with equipment, so I had to buy all my equipment, so haven't really had any money to do a lot. Any likes already? Nice. Thank you all.
Nothing starts again. The sky don't blink, trees don't care. I've been screaming, but there's no one there. The clouds just roll like old cassette tape, stuck in a loop I can't escape.
Hey bearded dude, how are you?
The moon ain't kind, she just watches still. Cold as bone, high on that hill.
That's the whole reason I use it, is for deleting mods.
I lit a match and dropped it.
Because you can actually see images. You can see the pictures of the mods instead of just freaking IH34192 FS25 and try to decide what it is. You can look at a picture. I could care less about the whole fucking map switcher thing. I'm sorry, y'all. The fact that you have to have multiple copies of that mod for each map, I'm not doing that. I've got about 100 gigs of mods, and I'm not going to sit there and make a map with 20 mods on it and have to copy those 20 mods into a folder, and while having those 20 mods on another folder and another folder and another folder. So I'm not doing that. I'm not doing the whole map switcher thing, because pretty soon 100 gigs becomes 200 gigs becomes 300 gigs. But I'll damn sure use it for moving files. Yeah, that's... Yeah, because it was like, I was going to use it for a while because we were playing multiple maps. And I was like, I got 7 copies of Universal Auto, you know, or FSG's Mod Assistant. The mods ain't really the size of things, it's the fucking maps. Like this map here's 1.2 gig. Now this map's 1.2 gigs in size, and I've seen bigger.
It just waits.
But for as big as this map is, it came with a shit ton of stuff. Seriously. Motherfucker. Pardon my language. I'll be right back, y'all. I've got to restart the game. It's that stupid fucking... It's that contract mod. I forgot to uninstall it. When you have it and the other contract mod loaded, they conflict. We don't want to know what kind of pics and videos you're putting on there, Zachary.
Not those kind of pics.
I'd assume it involves dolphins. He said not those kind of pics. Oh, you keep those on your phone, right? Easier to destroy. Throw the phone in the microwave.
Maybe.
Throw the phone in the microwave, hit the button. Y'all could tell from that maybe. You know, yep. That's right. I'm already got 18 hours on this map. I probably have that much, if not more. But I don't have 3,000 mods like Gold Gaming. Not like
I think
little
I'm up to like 1,000.
Me too, but they're mostly buildings, and I need to go through those. And I'm going to delete 90% of them because I just download them to check them out. Let's see if it works now. Yeah, it works now. There we go. Wheat. When can I sell the wheat? January. That's January. Everything's January, March. The hell is urea? And why do I have urea? Well, I know urea is a fertilizer, but why the hell do I have it? Why does it say I have 3 liters of manure? Which one of y'all shit on my farm? Especially if you're gonna play Steam games, man, like freaking, like Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead Redemption and crap like that. Ghana. Well, I was gonna say there's 3 liters of poop on my farm, but I don't have. What, did the goats make some poop? Do I have goats? Oh, I do have goats. So they made. There's no poop in here. One liter of poop in here. I don't see it. Is there poop over here? I don't even have no cows or nothing, so how the... What's over here? Pigs? No, that's the cow pasture. So what's this? This is pigs. Okay, so it gave me a beef pat. Why did it give me 2 cow pastures? Dairy cow pastures, that. Yeah, I'm selling that shit.
Now it's a camo hat, black eye, broken pride, and a fist full of sky. Didn't win, but I damn sure tried. He hit like a mule, and I won't lie. But I'd swing again for a gal like that, even if I wind up flat. 'Cause some things just don't pass by like a camo hat.
I ain't got no need for 2 dairy pastures, that's for sure. Really don't have no need for a stupid electric vehicle charger, right?
He let me go with a warning slip. Said next time maybe learn to zip that lip. Got home late with a busted brow. Mama said you fighting for her or your ego now. I just grinned and said a little bow as I iced my face and swore an oath. Yeah, it's a camo hat, black eye, bar stool thrown in whiskey high. Lost a girl, but I caught her eye. That's enough for a stubborn guy. Might be dumb, but I ain't shy, and I'll bleed for love till the well runs dry. 'Cause I don't back down, I stand up high with a camo hat.
I don't even know what that's for. Hey, DRR. I don't have nothing I can do for another month.
Some men run, some men beg, but I plant both boots and I don't hedge. So if you're wearing that red dress, smile might be worth taking a hit in style.
27 likes, 23 watching. Appreciate y'all. Do I have any contracts that I can do? Why the hell do I have all these Deadwood contracts? That's all I have. And I should not have Deadwood contracts, y'all look. It is set to 0 Deadwood contracts, 0 rock removal contracts, and 0 wood transport contracts. But all I have is Deadwood and wood transport contracts. That's the shit that's annoying to me. Cultivating. I don't even think I have a cultivator. I don't have a plow. Do I have a cultivator? Y'all, I don't even know what equipment I have. Nope, I don't have a call. How big's my tractor? 180. What's up, Ian? Let's take a cultivating job. What build are we on right now? Let's build 14 is right there. Let's take that one.
You don't care. Chaos on the run, raging hell. Set the town on fire as well. If you see a monkey, let him know I'm coming for you. Chaos Joe. Chaos, chaos, Monkey Joe. Burn my farm down, watch it glow.
I hope 35 extra horsepower is enough to pull this damn thing. And that it's not some insane that it's not some insane freaking 12-degree hill. And it's snowing, so it's gonna be slicker to come on a Golf too. There's always that one freaking part of it.
She left me down in Lafayette. Took my truck and my old cassette.
He was in here a few minutes ago.
Clifton Chitty
Probably eating.
Now I'm boiling crawfish, just feeling blue. Crawfish and heartache, that's what's cooking. Tears in my beer and my gumbo's looking like the only thing that'll warm my soul is a Cajun queen with a heart of gold. I dance alone at the Fado Do.
Yeah, this one's gonna suck, y'all. Look at the slope.
Cause every 2 steps got her in it. Lord, I take her back in one hot minute. Crawfish and heartache, pass the plate. This pain gon' simmer till it tastes like fate. She don't come back by Mardi Gras. I'm drowning in it to fade in alcohol.
So who died? Ian.
So did I.
Well, you deserve it. So I chose shallow cultivation on this one. On this cultivator. See the difference between it and the deep cultivation? How the ground looks.
Yep. Shit, I keep forgetting I need that texture pack.
Yeah. Exactly.
He's
At
dead.
best, no. Hey, Shadow, how you doing? Welcome back, Joe.
You talk real loud at a safe parade.
waving that flag like it ain't been frayed. But when the smoke rolls in and boots hit dirt, you duck your head and act like words don't hurt. You post online with a rebel tone.
Your internet's working on your PC now? Well, that's good. I seen where you was saying you was having hell with it.
Blood and sleepless nights and barbed wire scars and uphill fight.
I really like the texture though.
Just here for the show. You best turn around and go. If you won't bleed, then
Yeah, I like that texture better than the base game texture.
stand. Don't preach. Don't raise your voice when the cost gets high and expect the breath.
Holy crap, talk about immersion.
Freedom ain't a word you say. It's a price you pay day after
What are you over there doing, Zach?
you won't fight.
Heading some grass.
Oh, that build-up starts out in grass.
Yeah, one of them. I changed one of them to alfalfa.
I knew a man with a flag draped box. Never made it home from the kill zone shocks. But he died with pride, boots still laced, and you were
Figure I'll probably get done with this about the damn time.
This ain't about red, it ain't about blue. It's about the fire that burns in you. And if that fire ain't burning hot, then call it what it is.
Dude, I forgot to restart metal again.
'Cause talk is cheap and cheap don't last. And freedom ain't just in the past. If you won't bleed, then don't speak. If you won't stand, don't preach. Don't salute if your soul ain't true. When the line is drawn, will it cut through you? Freedom ain't a trend to wear. It's a burden, boy, it don't play fair. If you won't fight, if you won't die for it, then you don't qualify for it. Some gave limb, some gave son, some gave all, never fired a gun. So don't pretend with hollow pride if you ain't willing to stand beside.
I guess I'm just gonna have to leave that damn program running all the time now. You like the new world? You don't? You don't like it, Joe? How come? Is that the one with Tom Cruise in it? That right there would be enough for me not to like it.
Yep.
Take the word off your tongue.
I'm in love with Katie
Ain't
Holmes.
the one.
Oh, he's
My
jumping up and
opinion,
down on
Tom
him.
Cruise sucks.
Does he even age? I know he doesn't grow in height. Remember when he was on Oprah and he was jumping up and down on her couch cushion screaming, "I'm in love with Katie Holmes"? The new one's the one with Tom Cruise, right? Well, maybe I'm too old and you're too young to remember the original ones. Maybe there's another one.
You used to ride with me, side by side, back in.
There's one older than that one, Joe. From like when I was a kid, or further back.
I don't smile, just to fill the space.
So 1970s.
If I ain't got something
No, I was a kid in the 80s, dude. The 80s, Joe.
the road I walk
I was born in 79.
lights, just
Fuck you,
scars and
Zach.
stars and sleepless nights.
So wait, probably 1940s. I mean,
That would be for Jay.
You can take your
Tom Cruise is in the 2004 version, okay.
an empty praise.
I didn't know they made a new one since then.
I'd rather be broke with a name that stays.
Jay would be the one from the 70s.
I've earned my peace through blood and bone, and I've stood my ground when I stood alone.
Old man farting dust.
Colder than steel, I've been
The one from the 60s was the one I was thinking about. That's the one I like.
And I've made my name harder than stone. I don't fake a smile for a front row seat. I'd rather play my truth in an empty
Hey Luke, how you doing, man? Hope you're having a good day today.
Give me a six string in a quiet room, and I'll play the kind of song
That's good to hear.
speaks the truth. I'm hotter than stone.
So you prefer the Tom Cruise one, Joe, over the new one?
Chase fame, I chase what's real. I won't trade soul for a headline quote, or drown who I am just to stay afloat. I may fall, but I'll fall.
Okay.
Standing tall, harder than stone.
Cole, you still in here? When's Sassy streaming again?
Some folks break when the pressure comes, but I just sharpen where I'm from. Yeah, this pain has been my guide, and I still wear my name with pride. I'm harder than stone, forged in the fire.
Dude, this little tractor's actually doing really good on these slopes, man. I mean, it's not flat at all.
'Cause I'm lit from a different soul. I've cut my truth into my bones. Yeah, I'm standing here
Welcome back, Noah.
harder than stone.
It's a steady 11 miles an hour,
Looking for real.
which is probably a lot faster than I should be doing.
It's a nice little tractor.
I'm still here.
Their shields are weak to the birds. And it's, okay. I thought about buying that texture pack or whatever it is, the skins for this one. It's like $5, dude. But it comes with a rusty one. I think that's what I saw Rambo using, was a rusty one. Speaking of Rainbow Hacker, where the hell's he been?
I have no clue. He hasn't streamed a while, but he has been doing videos. What I've seen.
Got a truck full of gas
I hadn't even seen his videos, so I guess
and a case
I just
full
don't
of
get
sand.
notices about them.
Motors howling louder than a backwood
Probably working a
wind.
lot.
Boots on the dash, spitting my jaw. Middle finger up to your city boy law. Ain't looking for peace, ain't looking to mend, just looking for trouble and a bottle to bend.
Give me just a second, yo.
'Cause I'm hell-bent and wide open, speakers blown and tailgates smoking.
The hell was that?
From nothing but raising some hell, you pray for grace. I just fuel the smell, no brakes, no rules, no slowing or hoping. I'm red-eyed, wild, hell-bent and wide open. Bar tabs tall like a silo stack. Got a bouncer trying to hold me back. But I dance better with fists than feet.
Da 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 da.
I ain't leaving
The hell you on about?
taste concrete.
Captain Caveman.
Boots
Where's he
scuffs
at?
on the floor. Somebody yelling,
You know what he did? He went to eat and he fell asleep.
No, not
Oh.
hardly.
You're in chat? I didn't hear you come into chat.
I said da 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 da.
I thought that was Zach. He's been like making weird sounds.
guitar screaming like a shotgun blast. Your Sunday school ain't saving my ass
I didn't realize it
Hell
was you
no.
that did that.
No, no.
You watching my stream, Cave?
Yeah, I'm on it right now.
This little cultivator's doing good. 11 miles an hour even on these hills. Later, Noah. That's pretty right there. That church in the background, the sun coming over the top of it and everything. You too, Noah. I keep trying to grab a damn clip of it, but it won't let me grab a clip.
The rough, the crude, the dirt road kings and the whiskey fuel. Turn up that dial, let the neighbors complain. We ain't slowing down, we're fueling the flame. Rowdy and proud, ain't nobody hoping.
And I forgot to start that metal program.
We're born this way, hell-bent and wide open. So hold your Bible out,
Sorry, I just ate. I meant to dig a hole.
let's make that clear.
Hey, take care, Julian. Have a good stream, man. I forgot to start that stupid metal program again so I could just click a button and you have to start it before your game starts so that it can capture your game window, so I can't start it now. Puts tarp over Raptor, close the shed, blocks. Yeah,
Oh,
Joe,
no,
you crushed the roof in on it last night, driving it underneath the damn semi.
Static in the soul. Nowhere left to run. Time to
Let-
pay the toll.
Let's pour one out for Joe's Raptor. It finally took the draft. The brakes wasn't working. Okay. Well, when you're going 200 miles an hour in it, it's real easy to smoke the brakes, ain't it?
I've seen him drive. I know what he can do.
It needs them ceramic coated freaking Indy 500 style brakes. The ones made out of the same crap they put on he says I'm only going 80 to 90 miles an hour.
Yeah, only.
Only 80 to 90 when the average speed limit is like 50. Or 89 or 90. Only 80 or only 89 or 90. But that's what I was saying. That's them ceramic polymer shields that or he needs, yeah, the ones they put on the space shuttle that they don't get hot. Right click on your mouse. Right click will raise it, left click will lower it. Use. I'll show you. Right click will lower it. Left click will raise it. But if you use this one here, you can level the ground. Use this one here. You can sort of smooth it, float it. You're going to finish the old War of the Worlds movie again for like 20,000 times.
Finish the old War of the Worlds.
Do you have the Paint or Terraform Anywhere mod? Because if you don't own, if you don't own the area, it may not let you do it. There goes another truck. Joe's watching the War of the Worlds for Tom Cruise.
Dude, your new music is on point.
Do what?
See, your new music is on point.
I like it. This build's gonna take a while. How big is it? I'd say 80 acres. Maybe. No, it's only 35. Man, I've been used to that other damn map. Like, huge builds. Y'all gotta admit, this is a pretty map. Dude, this Zydeco music is like a Zydeco blues, so it reminds me of like the Blues Travelers. That is if you even know who the Blues Travelers is.
Oh.
The aliens are gone. Bird should get a real rework. Who's the top and the bottom right now, Ian? We know Zach's the top, but he's also a power bottom. That's what I've been told.
For you guys, I'm going ham.
See, there he goes, wanting to screw us. Type bottom. Find out caveman's bottom.
I probably am.
Well, no, you get points for watch hours, so.
I ain't in the bottom or the top. I'm a middleman.
Hey, he's the meat in the damn sandwich. What's
No,
up,
broken
Big
ain't
Mac?
even on.
Look, it ain't giving the bottom one this time, but it did before.
Yeah, it did.
Where'd
We
it give
got
the bottom?
8, 9, and 10.
Oh, okay.
So I said I'm in the middle, I guess.
But it gave it after Ian on my screen, after Ian typed bottom.
Oh, it shows before on mine.
Dude, that's a hell of a hill. Look at that. Shit, I'm almost out of fuel, y'all. Where's the nearest fuel station? Back at my farm. Crap.
I don't ask much, but I won't kneel for a suit.
I guess I gotta run back to the farm.
Or a fake ideal. This is my home, this is my
Let's go straight across these fields.
means you speak your mind. We're
I forgot to get fuel.
not just in words, where loyalty's more than a patch you wear. Call me what you want, I know my worth. I stand behind the line in the dirt.
Just so y'all know, FS Farmer just went live. If you want to go check him out, !FS will give you a link to get to his channel.
But don't tread on mine and call it kind.
Julian's an awesome farmer. Does a whole lot with course play and road. What's the other one? Course play and what's the other one? There's course play and then road.
Auto drive.
Auto drive. He does a lot with auto drive and course play. It's really interesting to watch. His goal is to eventually have 30 workers going at one time up there. I believe that's what he said his goal was to have 30 workers going at once.
That'd be pretty cool.
Would be interesting to see nonetheless, wouldn't it?
Zach, my daughter had a statue of a dolphin. Where did it go?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
He's literally
Yeah,
stealing
what-
people's dolphin statues now.
I think so. I can't find it nowhere.
Zach. Come
He
on,
did put
man.
2 dolphins on his porch that one time.
He did
though.
put 2 dolphins on his porch. He did do that. He straight honestly did for anybody that doesn't. He did. He really did. You can only have 4 on 22. Well, somebody's going to have to give me a damn crash course in course play and stuff, because I don't understand.
I know you hate watching him. I'm going to put it out there. No, I won't. I won't put it out there on your stream.
Who?
Farm Sim guy. He does the greatest walkthrough.
I don't hate watching him. I just don't like watching him.
I get it, but I mean, honestly, his walkthroughs are like spot on. Like if I could figure it out on 22, I'm sure I could figure it out on 25. But
I'm just going to put in the
Maybe work
follow
with
me
it.
mod and have my crap follow. Then we can run nut to butt, you know.
so I think I'm gonna do away with them silos since the damn potatoes are coming out of the sides. That's a shame, man. Shit like that happens.
Install that one
But they
that
got
looks like
walls.
them. Install the one that looks like them and holds potatoes. I mean, you won't be able to see them, but
I don't know. I don't know which one I'm gonna do yet.
you know which one I'm talking
might-
about, right?
Yeah. I was thinking about even trying that the newest one, but it shows it only holds 100,000. But what I'm thinking is it'll actually hold more than 100,000 because of the that one actually ended up holding more. But I don't know.
Open the XML and change the amount.
Yeah, I could do that too. I don't know. We'll see. I do kind of. I am curious to see how many potatoes I got off this field, though. I mean, I'm still not even done yet, still.
New updates, John Deere 4755.
We're gonna see all the new mods today. I haven't even looked at that yet.
I haven't even been on Hot-Tub. Did they release any new ones?
I have no idea. I haven't looked yet either. I just hopped on and jumped on here.
Don't look like they released any new ones.
I wish they would like hurry up with the damn updates on a couple of his maps or whatever.
Well, Joe, check tomorrow for 25 on
Yeah.
Game Pass. Then you'd be able to play 25 on your Xbox.
I'm gonna send you a thing on Discord here in a minute. You don't have to look at it right now. Just
Of
whenever.
course I do. I can't stand seeing the notification.
Oh well,
Oh no, I'm just kidding. I'm just being a smart.
that's on you.
I sat in voice chat with you and Zach watching you both farm this morning, and not one person messaged me. And as soon as I go live, I got like 7 freaking messages. It was like,
Of course, that's the way it goes.
Hell,
Yeah, Joe,
no.
it'll be on Game Pass tomorrow, buddy. Probably. When do they update that? Is it around noon or 3?
I don't know. I've never had an Xbox.
Or
I've
then
always
again, they
been a
might
PlayStation
update it
guy.
at midnight. I don't know. But it should be on there tomorrow, regardless.
I've always been a PlayStation guy. That's why I've
Yeah.
got a PlayStation 1, 2, 3, 4. I refuse to get a 5 right now. My brother actually offered me a 5, and I turned him down.
Mom's getting ready for her inspection tomorrow. Thing
Well,
to
it's
do.
free, Joe.
That's good.
It'll be free, so you don't have to worry about that, bub.
Well, unless he don't have Game Pass, or does he have Game
He
Pass?
said he's got Game Pass.
Oh, if he's got Game Pass, oh, it's free then, yeah.
But he said he has to ask his mom if he can download it. Well, that'll free up her computer from you playing 25 on her computer. I think it's cool that they're giving it for free.
I figured in a certain amount of time they would finally put it on
Yeah,
there.
imagine
didn't
it's
know
going to
when.
bring a bunch of players, new players.
Oh yeah. Yeah, 'cause a lot of people, they don't want to pay for it, which I get it. I'm one of them guys normally that don't like to pay for games, but
Dude, I didn't pay for mine really, you know.
my
I had
mom's
20 I
account
had
has
22.
unlimited Game Pass.
I was going to start streaming 22, and my wife was like, well, you know, my job gave me this $50 gift card to Walmart. She's like, why don't you just use it and buy it? Okay. You want to give it to me for free? I don't care. You know what I mean?
Right. This farming sim, I didn't even pay for it, so
Look at this shit. Look at that hill.
it damn near looks like the. Well, I can't say it looks like the Italian maps because some of them hills are crazy too.
Looks like North Dakota for sure.
But yeah, I wouldn't even have this game right now if I didn't get it for free.
I know several
My
people
ex-
said that.
I know my ex got it for me, so
Yeah, I bought this game twice. Once on console.
He bought it on his PlayStation and then on computer.
see, I had it on PlayStation and PC, but
Well, I started out on console and then I bought it for PC.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
we
I-
convinced him.
I got jealous of all the mods.
We corrupted poor Zachary is what happened.
big time.
We corrupted him and brought him over to the
Dark
real
side.
of game, the dark side of gaming.
Comes with terms and tracking codes. It ain't freedom. It's product.
You got GTA, Zach?
No. It was on sale. I don't know if it's still on sale, but it was.
Yeah, it was on
The
sale for like
enhanced version.
$9 for a while.
The enhanced version was. I
Yeah.
thought about getting it, but
I got both. I got the
And then I-
enhanced and the other one.
They sell you chains with a smile.
When my brother bought it for me, it was just like a bundle.
I thought about getting Red Dead Online too.
I've got that. Red Dead Redemption. Dude, when are we gonna play
I'm
Pirates
talking
Bar?
about the online version though,
Oh,
because the story mode and the online version is totally separate.
well, I've just got
Farmer
Red
J
Dead.
just
Yeah,
went live.
Do what?
Play
What'd you say, Cave?
Oh, I'm still letting him talk. I'll take it in a minute. Let him finish.
to play Red Dead Online, you have to buy their online version.
Yeah, fuck all that.
Yeah.
But I said Farmer J went live
That means
also.
my numbers will drop to like 10.
There's another new Mountain Dew called Overdrive. Why? Why? I wish they would just keep like brands simple.
No shit. Like, why do we need
Not
26
come out with
flavors of
100,000
Crush?
different flavors.
Why do you need 26 flavors of Crush? Strawberry, grape, and orange.
How they got? And I hate to say it, they got the pineapple too.
There ain't no chance under the sun, Joe. No. Zach, would you like to harvest Joe's sugar beets for you?
Depends. What kind of equipment?
What kind of equipment, Joe?
Is it Colossus equipment or is it just regular?
It'll probably be like a 4-meter wide Russian tractor with a tow behind harvester that only holds 500 liters.
I'm only using a 3-meter potato harvester.
Yeah, but you're sort of psyched on it. You have like this self-harm type thing when it comes to the game.
I
You
do.
like torturing yourself.
I do. What cultivator is that? Is that
It's third party.
the international or is that the
It's
Alice Chalmers?
Will Rich 2800 field cultivator.
Oh, okay. It looks like the damn Alice Chalmers one.
He says the Ropa harvester with a 4-meter head, Zach.
I'll make you a deal, Joe. We'll split the field in half. You take one half, I'll take the other.
It's a pretty good deal, Joe. You gonna take him on? You know what he'll do? He'll put an AI on the other side. Joe pulls a John and just stands on the truck and watches you work. I think we should be allowed to make as many headlands as we want. Do y'all agree with that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He says, I'm willing to pay good. I figured out why Joe's always broke. He pays his workers more than he makes off the field.
Mm-hmm. And then all his money goes into his damn vehicles.
Get specially made one-off parts for his... Hello, Latoya. How you doing?
I had a dive bar tab and a scar or two. You said this ain't working, you're just too wild. Well, sugar, you ain't seen half my style. 'Cause I got friends where the jukebox
I might as well join that too. Let me.
through a neon haze where the stories grow and the whiskey flows and nobody cares what
Hey, just remember at the
Ian's
end of the
not
day,
alone.
Cave, remember at the end of the day when you're feeling down, just remember you're someone's most hated YouTube page.
True.
That should make you feel better. They gave them a case harvester too.
You brought class, but I brought noise. Me and the boys ain't choir boys. Now you're posting pics with your new man while I'm 3 shots deep and raising sand. 'Cause I got friends where the bar stools creak and the laughs come loud and the talk comes cheap. Where we toast to love and curse it too and dance with trouble like it's something new. We ain't got gold, but we got graces. We were raised on rowdy places. You said I'd never grow up. Honey, I never planned to.
Aha. So the you know that reinforced Quonset shed thing we found,
Yeah. The
the
white
double looking one or whatever.
Yeah, okay.
After you go over the 100,000 liter mark, it has a thing where it says it'll hold 1,000,000 potatoes.
Well, that's cool. That's the
I
one.
wanted to see what it would
That's the
do
one me
after
and
I got
Zach
to
put in
100.
Arkansas, right? That you load it in the front
yeah.
and load it in the rear, and it's
Yeah.
one side by sides.
Yeah. Holy hell, my phone is like dinging.
That ain't me. Joseph, at least he's got 4 John Deeres. You know, if you didn't have to spend money fixing them damn John Deeres, you might make a profit. John Deere, the king of freaking repair. Plastic parts made for you and next. And get you a Fiat, Joe. They run nonstop. Look at this Fiat. Just runs and runs and runs.
All aboard. Let's ride this thing till it breaks. Woke up screaming, boots hit the floor. Whole damn world's knocking down my
58%.
door. They said,
Jeez, this takes forever. Forgot what real farming was like.
I was born to cross that line.
On those sometimes. Well, I don't know if it's fun or if it's just, it gives you a different nostalgia for it.
Yeah. Well, I
I
like
use
this
the big
map.
word. That's my big word for today, guys.
I like
That's
this
my
map,
biggest
and the
word.
fields aren't huge, so.
I'm not crazy, I'm just wide awake. You can't fake it when your soul's at stake. I'm riding the thunder. Sparks flying under my boots. I'm riding the thunder. Hell yeah, I'm cutting it loose. No chains, no cage, no damn parade.
I'm going with a New Holland theme on this one.
Lightning strike again.
Dude, why are people full of shit?
Because they haven't pooped yet after they
No,
ate.
I'm just saying, folks, if you're in here, if you're going to watch another streamer who I watch, don't tell me you're going to bed and good night, and then come
Oh.
into another stream that I'm sitting in, because that just makes you
Yeah.
out to be a liar, and it honestly makes me dislike you. What's up, Curse? No one is required to be in my stream at all. You know what I mean? Not even my
Right.
mods.
That's,
But
that's
it
the
is
same
so
way I always
fucking
feel.
annoying. It is so annoying. Somebody be like, "Hey, I'm going to lay down. I'm tired. I'm gonna go take a nap," and 2 minutes later they're in somebody else's stream like, "Oh, hey, can I come play with you?" And you know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah, 'cause that's what I do too. I
It's
channel
so
with
immature
Jump.
and
Like,
stupid.
even while I'm streaming, I channel with Jump.
Yeah, I'm sitting here watching other streamers while I'm doing this, and One had to go back to
I get
work.
it. I get
One
it.
was sleepy.
Yeah,
you know,
I get it. Trust me.
It's like, God,
I'll watch multiple streams on.
it ain't an airport, man. People don't have to announce their departure. You know what I mean?
Halftime, I don't even tell people bye. I just go.
What's
I'll
going on
watch
with you today,
multiple
Drews?
streams.
Oh yeah,
Might
when
get
I'm not
another
streaming, me
farm.
and Zach,
Uh-oh.
will be watching like 4 different people sitting there PMing each other, talking about what we're seeing.
Yeah.
You're like, man, did you see
I'm
that?
not- If I'm not playing
Nope.
the game, and so there's a couple people on streaming, I'll throw a couple streams up on my 2 monitors.
That's what I do, dude.
Joe, what map you doing, buddy? You might get another farm. What map you on?
Yeah, he hasn't told us what map he's on 22 this time. He usually tells us.
Well, normally it's Michigan, I think. I think that's what he likes the most on 22. I've noticed. But we'll see. Let's see what map he's doing. He might need a refresh too.
Yeah, he's probably a little. Oh, he's pretty close. He's
Boom.
finishing.
Boom.
So
Did I
he's not-
guess it or what?
He's not lagging today. His internet's on pop today.
Did I guess it or what? Looky there.
He loves that mission.
He does. That's how well we know Joe, right there.
Man, Turtle's growing up. He's starting high school this year.
Scary, ain't it?
Uh, he's growing up and we're getting old. I want to get to where I can start doing some of the productions on this map, but I've got to get more money for fields so that I can get product.
If these walls couldn't breathe, they'd tell me.
Hey, I need you later on, if you can remember. You know the underground silo bunker thing that you added onto that one silo to try to extend it?
Yeah.
It looked like little squares. I need you to send me that mod.
It's on Mod Hub.
Eventually.
It's on Mod Hub. It's like liquid and solid underground. I can.
Okay, I'll find it then. If it's on Mod Hub, that's fine. I thought it was a third party one.
No, it's on Mod Hub. I can tell
Okay,
you.
I'll look for it. Because I kind of want to do 2 of these. Well, actually, no. Yeah, I think I want to do 2 of them. And that should give me at least 2 million liters. I'm sure I probably got more than almost 2 million right now, I'd imagine. This field is forever.
Yeah, it's like a liquid and dry underground silo thing.
Okay,
Um,
I'll check it out. Once I get done with this field, I'll
it's
go
called
look for it or whatever.
underfloor storage for liquids and bulk material.
Okay. Cool. I'll go find it here in a little bit.
The picture will be like an underground bunker thing with a pipe.
Let's see, I think that might be why I wasn't finding it, because I wasn't looking for the one with the pipe or whatever.
And it, well, the picture of it has like underground silo. It has the square, then it has like 2 looking liquid pipe things coming out of the ground, and then it's got one of those squares with the pipe that comes out of the ground.
I got you.
Hell, while I'm there, I might as well just send it to you, right? There you go.
Oh, okay, that'll work too.
Yeah, I had it bookmarked because I had to send it to Jersey a while back. You like Michigan for flat field and big farm? Hell yeah, Joe. I like big fields too, but I sort of like having these hills. Well, I like the big flat fields like I had on Canada, but I sort of like the hills also. I like the shapes of these fields, how smooth and curved they are and stuff, that for the most part you don't have to reset your lines when you're going around the corners.
Yeah. I'm getting a new farm and giving my old farm to Zach. Oh, he's being nice to Zach. Look at this crap.
That's after
Where did
he's
this
destroyed
come
the old
at?
farm, probably.
Yeah, though his old farm's probably in.
Falling apart from him running through it and
Yeah.
stuff at 90 miles an hour and his brakes going out.
I'm throwing dynamite at it.
Gets mad at the bunk at the silo and throws a stick of dynamite at it, blows it up. I mean, his cows were given sour milk, he'd scared them so much. Cajun Savage, I believe, is the one that I've seen.
Yeah,
also.
I'd probably say Cajun. Yeah, I think I've seen you in there.
Yeah,
The Latoya. I think I've seen her there.
yeah, I think it was Cajun Savage.
Who don't fly past. Sing my name in the key of dirt.
We ain't got much of this field left, but it seems like so much.
Roots won't last.
Did anybody see that 50-meter John Deere plow only takes 80 horsepower to pull it?
Oh.
Yeah, it takes 80 horsepower to pull a 50-meter
Yes,
plow.
him. Just go. Yep,
What's
it was
that like?
Cajun.
What's that like?
Just moved the shed.
300 feet or something? How big is 50 meters? Is that 150 feet?
Hey, the turd's here. Who let him in?
What's going on, herd? Yeah,
Hey,
he
you
let
must
the
have-
tur- I
you
let
must
him in
be,
this time.
Watching,
That's my boy.
supposed to be watching the back door, Cave.
I don't like watching back doors.
Zach, you're the one that likes the back door.
Only if they're round and plushy.
What up, herd?
What's going on, herd? I'm just doing a contract trying to make enough money that I can buy a piece of property, but I highly doubt I'll be able to. The Blue Zack and Caveman. He's like, who the fuck are the other two calling me turd? He says ball sack.
Oh, Zach.
Caveman.
Who?
Caveman.
Everybody's married now or moving out.
I'm gonna call him that now. What's up, ball sack?
I'm still working late at the
Here you guys, I'm giving him.
in the room.
Too fast, too slow. Up, down,
Ah.
left, right.
Still playing in that band. I say I was
He thought he was
effing
effing
Broken
broken
Business.
farmer these days. Nah, he did a poll because everybody kept
The
calling him
people talk.
Cave. Because everybody kept calling him Caveman. He did a poll if he should go back to his original name, and everybody said yeah. He got tired of me calling him Broke Back Farmer too. You know, Broke Butt
Broke
Farmer,
Butt
Blown Out
Farmer.
Farmer, Lone Butt Farmer, Busted Onion Ranch.
I really didn't think about that when I was making that name, though.
Busted Onion Ranch. You know.
Saw my ex at the grocery line. She looked right through me, felt just fine. She said some
Onion farmer,
just stay. I said some fine gold, some melt away.
broke back onion farmer.
My wife called him
Don't
a
be
broke
jealous.
back bitch last night. It was funny. So you're getting insulted? Yeah. These clowns are insulting you too, man. I mean, just no respect, right?
I always mess with you, herd. Always put turd on the damn chat. I'm just trying to enjoy the stream. Hey,
You know, the truth of the matter is, the day I called him the turd, it was an honest accident. I hit the T instead of the H because they're right by each
Mhm.
other. What's up, Whiskey? How you doing, young man? I said, what's up, the herd? I meant to say the herd, and I said the turd, and he was like, "Beard it, really?" That's when I wrote the song, The Herd Is Always Whining.
dude, I was watching one stream the other night, and in the title it says, "The herd is here." So I was thinking, you know, the herd's going to be in the video or something.
Oh no, it's where they
There
brought
was-
their cows.
Yeah. And I'm like, are you serious? I thought it was going to be the herd.
I don't even want to know how you got your onion blooms there, dude.
The other day, I was louder than most of my family. Oh, come on, dude. More name, image, and likeness
Likeness stolen. You getting ready to do another live stream, Whiskey? Running the MacDon? Throw your link out there, Whiskey. Exclamation point Whiskey, I think it is.
Good to see all you guys. Hey, it's good to see you too there, Herd.
Shit, yeah, it's good to see.
You're
Already
back in New York now, right?
Yeah, he's back in New York.
Should just call it New Jersey and be done with it and get rid of New York altogether.
Oh God! Now just give New York City to New Jersey and let the rest of the state of New York heal. Because the rest of New York, the state is fucking amazing, man. I got family up in the Adirondacks, so that's a beautiful fucking country up there. Rednecks, you know, rednecks and farms and everything else. But then you got the city. It's just like, just give New York City to fucking Massachusetts or something, or make it its own state, you know. Escape from New York, wall that son of a bitch in, and y'all just need to like build a wall around New York City. That's all it is. Just like all of freaking Oregon would like to give Portland to some other state. I mean, there's parts of Oregon and Washington that want to join like Idaho and stuff.
Holy crap, I'm not out of fuel.
Well, why aren't you watching your fuel gauge, old man?
Well, it ain't dinged at me yet. I think I got the dinger on when it's supposed to be low fuel.
Why are you
It's not red yet. It ain't red yet.
You're not
It's
supposed to be doing
almost.
your dinger. You know, your dinger. We don't want to hear about your
Well,
dinger. Not to get political, but when your taxes go to the city and your town can't afford its own ambulance. Exactly, 100% agree with that. That ain't political, that's just facts. Son. Yeah, my cousin's up in Round Top, outside of Round Top, New York. Holy shit!
wow, there's gold.
It's Goldilocks.
Wait a minute. I ain't seen him in forever. My town, our ambulances, our emergency is 100% paid by chip binding yogurt.
That's
Okay.
awesome.
So if you
We mentioned food.
yogurt,
Gold's like, I love yogurt. Hey, Gold, did
Yeah,
you get my
that's what I was-
message on Discord?
You can push a man, you can test his soul, but the ones who built this land,
been
I
down
get it.
guys trying to beat me again. No, you're good, buddy. We're here. We know. Not really know, but we get it.
this is my home, my flag, my town, 3% strong, loud and clear, we ain't going anywhere but here. You want our guns, you want our voice,
You gotta play this map, Gold.
we ain't just
Called Mountain Hill. You might have tried it in 22.
proud, and I'll damn sure stand my ground.
So many friggin' productions. And insane hills. Uh-oh, Joe's starting up his J&D here. He's gonna run through somebody. Yeah, that's a town. What is wrong with you, Ian? Why would you give a pyromaniac a lighter?
I mean, hell, he's probably already got 1,000 of them anyway. Did it let me, and then secures, and then
No
forgot
problem,
to
man.
reply. What's it done?
I didn't want to be out of line doing it, but it felt right.
They say I should settle down, but I kinda like burning out. I'm still
I'd have took the backlash. Hurt's trying to keep his booze. Somebody start a raid to steal Hurt's booze. Ian, steal the Hurt's booze.
Hey, did we ever figure out the winner of that last heist?
No. The herd doesn't even put any money in on it. He just joins it. He's gonna
Yeah, and then
trip
he
everybody.
does it, or heist all, and he ain't gonna
Too
get
late. He
nothing
already
if he
joined
wins.
it with no money. You forgot the all
Right.
part, herd.
Okay, so the heist. Let's see. Ian won, I won, Zach won, and Joe won.
So everybody got some of the herd's moonshine. No, it is not Mod Hub, but I am.
I don't know
Hey,
who else
did it
is in it.
stupidly gold. They did it in RAR files, multiple RAR files that you had to download off of fucking RapidGator, sort of like what's that other one called? Hoff Bergman does. They did it like that, but I downloaded it, and then one of the RARs had an error, so I had to repair the RAR. It took me 3 hours to download it, but I've got a zip of it on my mega file if you'd be interested in it.
I think Gold just realized I'm caveman again.
Yeah, he's not broke butt farmer no more. But Zach is forever known as Balzac. Just because Herd said it, Zach is Balzac. The blue Balzac.
You got blue balls? Don't you worry. Just come down to ball sack. Please.
We do our own rye here, Mac. I'm glad he's back as Cave too, but it's going to take all the fun away from me calling him Brokeback Farmer.
Growing up's fine for somebody else. But I ain't done living loud yet.
The hell's texting me now? Dude, go the... Sorry. Once Brokeback, always Brokeback, yeah. So who got through this time? Gold got through. Ian got through. The herd fell in the turd pond. The herd didn't make it through. He fell in the manure.
Well, he made it through, but he didn't win nothing.
Did he
'cause
make it
remember
through?
he didn't put.
Oh, okay. I seen his
Yeah.
name at the end. I didn't see it.
Yeah.
Everybody else got some of his moonshine though. What's up, crotch dog? You got to add all to it, herd, or up to 3,000.
Sunday morning church at night. Flag on the porch and a rebel
Freaking
smile.
YouTube, man.
Don't say much, but it means
I know. I just got a notification too.
I've gotten like 7 in the last 5 minutes. I'm like, nobody's online all morning. I go live and everybody's like, now I remember why I started streaming at like 4 a.m. Well, I got new music, Goldie, if you're interested. That's what I'm playing now. Is the
Stream
new
again
music.
before I forget how.
Yeah, you couldn't remember how to use the damn freaking GPS. I'm afraid you forget how to turn OBS on. I miss the herd streaming though, man. I'd heal it up with him all day. But he ended up streaming on days my wife would be off work, and she would annoy me to the point that I would miss the herd stream. Joe, hey herd tap H.
Oh Jesus, that's even coming from him now. Love it.
Yeah, I've been trying to do more late night streams, of course. But hell, here lately I've been crashing out at like 11 and waking up around 1. Getting like 2 hours of sleep. I ain't been feeling great.
Oops.
Dude, that is a steep hill.
We got 2 more rows finally.
But this Fiat's pulling it like it ain't nothing.
It definitely is. It's doing like a champ.
And you know, the plow was like 140 horsepower, I think, was needed for it. And this tractor's only 180, so I was afraid that... See, Zach, I fixed it. It don't say hit the like button no more. If you go live tonight, I'll be in there. Unless it's storming, which it's supposed to start storming here at like 4 o'clock, 4:30. If it's storming, I'll watch you on my TV. Talk shit on my
It's
phone.
raining here. It hasn't been doing nothing yet. I'm waiting on the storm to come in.
If it's anything like the storms that hit Kansas last night, it'll be pretty bad. Dude, I get New York style pizza here in town now. We got a place called Lugo's, and they came from New York. I think Astoria. I think that's the town the guy said they're from, Astoria.
We speak soft, but we fight loud. So if you come for our freedom, heed the call.
There's something about a piece of thin crust pizza
You'll face the
that you can hold out there and it does not like sag or anything, but it's not like so crispy that it's dry. But it's amazing pizza.
Yeah, I saw a Facebook thing yesterday, so we deep fried a pizza.
Yeah, you sent that to me and made me hungry, and then I raided the refrigerator. He waits till I'm high as a 3-dick billy goat to send me videos of like barbecue brisket, deep fried pizza. And... yeah, they deep fried a pizza.
Pepperoni pizza, deep fried.
I'd have ate it. Ain't no shame in my game. I'd have ate it. I don't know. It was on YouTube. I mean, on Facebook. It was a post. I wished I could try it. I do pizza on the grill. Believe it or not, what is it, Tom's? Tom's, the cheap ass pizzas, Tom's actually gives you the directions on the back of them how to cook them on the grill.
We got
I
a
need to get one
place
of
that
those.
does the wood fired.
I'll disagree,
pizzas.
Mac.
I didn't get one of those pizza stones or whatever.
Depends if you're going to an
Last-
Indian ran pizza joint or an actual New York joint. But that's like somebody saying it's not Chicago unless it's deep dish, when deep dish ain't Chicago. Pub style Chicago.
Last time I did a frozen pizza on the pellet grill, I burnt the crust underneath.
So Zach, you gotta get high after you cook the pizza, not before.
Nothing lasts when it ain't supposed to. And nothing starts again.
But I mean, like thin crust pizza here, like fucking folds in half when you pick it up. I mean, like literally just fucking flops. It sucks. This stuff that they do at Lugo's does not flop. It's not like cracker crust straight, you know, but it don't like, you're not holding the end of it. The whole damn pizza's just sagging like a tail. Yeah, that's like sitting there telling me that I can't have an actual New York hot dog unless it's made with dirty water.
Cold as bone, high on that hill. I lit a match
I learned it from watching You Heard.
twice. Let it burn.
He said, wait, are y'all a bunch of stoners?
I learned it from watching Heard. Don't let him fool you. I learned all about the hippie lettuce from you, man.
Hey, I live in a state full of hippies, so
You remember that old anti-drug commercial? Where'd you learn to do this? I learned it from watching you.
that reminds me that one song guys talk about his kid and how everything he learns from his dad.
Yeah.
Well, they remade that song, and the kid's all grown up. No,
This hill, I'm not even cultivating now, and this damn thing don't want to climb this hill. You remember that commercial, yeah. You know what I'm angry about is, like, what was her name? Barbara Bush came to my school and she was like, dare to say no to drugs. People are going to offer you drugs every... Where the hell are these people that are supposed to be offering me drugs? That's what I want to know. Is where are all these people? He has a stolen case International Harvester mirrors on his field boss. What the hell, Joe? Did you steal the mirrors off my tractor, Joe? Maybe. You're starting to take after Zach with that whole maybe.
Maybe.
I'll ask Zach, did you just wreck a tractor? Maybe. Did you steal my harvester, Zach? Maybe.
Me?
Zach, did you put the tractors on top of the roof? Maybe.
That's definitely a yes.
I don't know if there's Bureau of Land Management. There's like
Even though I
There's
still get
several.
blamed for it.
there's several like freaking four-wheel parks and stuff. I know like the Great Salt Lakes or whatever it is. I know they have like the big salt desert there or whatever, Little Sahara. People ride there. I don't know if the state owns it or the feds. Out by Camp Gruber, there's a ORV park thing. I don't know how much federal land is in Oklahoma, except for down around Hugo and down towards the Texas state line. Jesus.
Now, Beardy, you did hear that maybe, or actually it was a yes. He put the tractors on the roof.
Did you,
Oh, I
Zach?
won't deny that one. I won't deny that one.
You did it when Cave put my when my tractor got put on the roof. That was you.
Maybe.
So it was you. All along you've been telling me it was Cave and it was you.
Yep.
You dick.
I really
been
don't know
accusing-
who it was.
I've been accusing Cave for like 5 months of putting my tractor on a roof, and it was that.
No, that one actually was Cave.
Maybe. I was on console. Come on now, how could I do it?
Oh
didn't
yeah,
have
well,
super
yeah.
strength.
We didn't have super strength either because we was playing with your freaking console having ass. I don't
But how
know.
would I have done it? Come on now, be real. How would I have done that?
Tases Zach. Joe just tased your ass. I have no clue how you did it, but you did it and you know it.
I still
Yeah,
don't know what
but
you're talking
jerseys-
about.
I put Jersey's track.
You gotta be
on top of
kidding me.
That one night.
Yo, I don't even need the Oxbow.
Okay. The red Zach was Ian. I wonder if I can hook up to it from the rear. Yeah, the red Zach was Ian.
That
Oh,
was my
shit.
evil twin.
Yeah, Zach actually thought he was being trolled, like a legitimate troll, when it was Ian.
Yep. He got me good on that one. I gotta admit.
I almost banned him from my streams. 'Cause of- Probably Jason always says the word purple, so. Okay, so I can connect this thing to the back. That means I could sell that damn Oxbow, right?
Does it turn on also?
I don't know. But looks like it's dragging the ground.
Looks like it's in the ground, the middle part.
I don't care.
Yeah, you can get rid of the Oxbow.
I sort of like the Oxbow.
They'll remember the 3%.
No, I'm gonna have to keep it. I'm gonna keep the Oxbow. No, my tires ain't off the ground. It's just this was designed to go on the Oxbow.
This is our land.
It does it on the front too. The Oxbow's connection point is higher.
Dude, I don't know how long that took, but I finally finished that damn potato
Potato
field.
harvest. You finally finished it.
And think I want a bigger field. I don't know about that yet. I'll need another harvester before I do that.
You're like a farming masochist when it comes to this game. You like to torture yourself.
No, not me. No. What are you talking about?
300 farms in 300 days. The story of Kate.
Midnight haze on a roof.
You're enjoying them 300 days, though.
I don't know.
City breathes like
Maybe.
a vinyl groove. Heartbeat sinks to a
I'm getting better at them, though.
Lost in the echo of a siren's hum. Painting dreams with the tip of my tongue. Reality bends with a rhythm.
Trying to use what, like,
See,
some
Mac, it
people
don't
do
matter
in
if
real
I have
life
weight or
now.
not. It's the height, the way it does.
You feel the note and I feel the ride. Moon above like a stage light shine.
But when it's on the Oxbow, it sets higher.
Perfect time. Velvet skyline, we don't sleep. Floating high where the world runs deep. Notes like stars and beats like rain. Falling slow, but we don't complain.
What map should I try next, Joe?
Just press rewind. Underneath that velvet sky.
Yeah, but see, when it's on the Oxbow,
Back dreams in a tailored suit. Oh, so
the 3-point set's high enough. I don't want to play the Michigan map, Joe. I don't like it. I've got like 4 of them and careful. See, when it lowers here, it still tips it, but it still don't look right because the back part don't touch. I've played like 4 of the Michigan maps, Joe, and I don't know. Just say no to Michigan maps. Broncom released the Wisconsin map. It has like 25 new crops. But dude, no. I don't even care what the crops, no. It's got like 25 new crops. I'm talking it has like 3 different types of corn. It has silage corn, raft corn, regular corn, winter wheat, hard wheat, all kind of. But no. The map itself is very. It doesn't speak to me. I'll just say that. You're planting canola. I don't have anything to plant, Joe. I really don't have anything to do because I can't afford to buy any property. I mean, I can keep doing.
When are you and Zach going live to do the other? What is it, Arkansas?
I don't know.
Oh, I just wonder.
Don't honestly know. There ain't no way in hell I'm taking a job that uses that fucking Ford tractor. Get rid of the damn Deadwood contracts. I've even turned the son of a bitches off. Turned them off, and it still gave me 2, 4, 6, 8. 8 wood transport. 2, 4, 6, 8 freaking deadwood. They're turned off, man. 0. 0 of each of them. Maximum contracts per type, 5. Yet there's 8 deadwood and 8. So that's where I can only have one damn contract. Yeah. Yeah, I did hurt. It's a long ways from where I started.
You know what I'm doing now? I'm doing something very fun.
And look at this. Deadwood and wood transport contracts again. And I'm only supposed to have maximum contracts available 1.
Dragon chains I didn't choose.
Holy shit, where did that snow come from?
But I walk through the bruise, barefoot on stone, singing the blues. Yeah, I feel the way.
Hey, coach. Damn, snow came out of
But
nowhere.
I keep taking.
Oh, I can start selling crops. The wheat, January. Do I even have a wagon to haul wheat? Will this hold wheat beyond that?
I don't know with that being a pickup.
Nope, it won't. I didn't want to have to buy a freaking.
You don't learn strength from comfort. You learn it from the floor. I feel the weight of the world. And it ain't letting go. But I keep moving slow like a freight train full of soul. Yeah, I feel the weight. But I'm still standing.
I'm kind of curious to see how many potatoes was actually in this cellar, though. I'm gonna find out.
Still standing. With the weight of the world. I ain't looking for trouble, but it sure finds me.
Oh, get off the building! Get off the building!
Like a shadow in the rear view, I don't wanna see. Got a steel string heart and a shotgun soul. I've been running wide open since I was 10 years old.
What is it down there today?
trying to be a legend, just a name you remember. When the lights go out and the cold winds bitter. This world don't give, it just takes its toll. So I carved out my place in the rock and the roll. I come from the back roads, dust and flame, where the truth hits harder than a runaway train.
Yeah, I need a front weight.
No suits, no filters, just a fire I made, still burning out here.
I think it's still supposed to be like a real feel of around 100 here today. Stupid.
I bled on stages, broke some strings, watched fair weather friends turn into windblown things. But I keep my boots dirty and my head down low, 'cause I trust that rhythm more than folks I know. I come from the back roads
How was your nap, Noah?
and flame, where your word means more than your last damn name. I'm stone, I'm gravel,
Wish I could take a nap. Hell, it's already 5 o'clock here. I wouldn't get back up.
standing strong.
My old ass.
Don't you just send a nurse in, Cave? Think that depends.
Oh god.
Oh yeah, but she ain't leaving. I guarantee you that.
When she pulls that diaper off, Cave's gonna start partying.
It's been a long time since this Neanderthal seen anything.
You don't need her. Does she need to send the blue pill in with her?
I don't know. It's been a while. I don't know.
Ride the same damn wind.
Zach don't use blue pills, he
Dickhead.
uses blue waffles.
So if you hear me loud, just know it's real.
We got little kids in here, Zach. Behave. No.
Ain't got a thing to fake
You're
or
worse than school.
Oh, I'm sure.
come from the back roads, dust and flame, where your word means more than your last damn name. I'm stone, I'm gravel, I'm the heat and the blade, still standing strong where the smoke don't.
Dude, I don't even think I got 1,000,000 potatoes.
Stupid YouTube just let me know that I released a short yesterday.
It did that to me yesterday too.
Well, I mean, I'm
Thanks,
glad
I
it's
know
letting me know that I'm releasing shorts.
It's like, thanks YouTube, I know I've released it to her.
It doesn't let me know when anybody responds to them.
YouTube's been doing that weird thing to me where I can't open the comments on your shorts on my phone,
Yeah.
but I can on the computer.
Born with diesel in his veins, raised on broken tractors and them high plains rain.
I can view your shorts and like them. I just can't open the comments on my phone.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell I did. I wasn't looking.
That boy Whiskey Creek.
There's a creek there.
Come late July when the wheat turns gold, he's got that Mac gone humming down them roads.
And I fucked.
Cap full of dust and a mind full of grit. He's cutting like a legend, clean, strong, and quick. Whiskey Creek's out riding steel to death.
That's gonna
Ladies and gentlemen, this is how not to drive a tractor.
Shit.
That's gonna be some waterlogged grade.
I'm good. I'll
I hope
get more
someone
money
clipped
for
it. I really hope someone clipped it.
I wasn't even watching y'all. My wife texted me and I was just watching what she said. Good, I'll make. He says waterlogged grain. Hell yeah, I'll make more money.
But his work speaks loud, and when he cuts that wheat, he draws a crowd. Got his ball cap low. The land with a ranch
My
in the
erosion.
salt. A one-man crew with a seasoned eye. If the wheat sticks
Yo, erosion.
steady, he ain't done tonight. Whiskey Creek's out riding still today. Macton White just clearing away. Sun beating down, sweat on his cheek. Ain't no
I'm running like that.
cuts like Whiskey Creek with diesel dreams and a farmer's pride. He's bringing in that harvest right by right.
Well, guess what?
Chicken butt.
This is the last. This is the last of the damn potatoes.
So
All that cellar. I moved them that fast.
I gotta reset the track. Hopefully the trailer.
Yeah, Whiskey Creek's out, carving through the land with a MacDon rig and a steady hand. Sun setting low, but he won't quit the streak. Ain't nobody cuts like Whiskey Creek. No, ain't no
Dude, they wasn't even close to 1,000,000 potatoes.
like Whiskey Creek.
Wasn't even close.
No. I'm not even. I'm afraid to even say how much it even was.
Let me guess, 400,000.
No, it's up.
800,000.
No, it's way down.
600.
Down.
550.
523.
And it took you how many days?
It wasn't days.
It was days.
It started yesterday.
Today. Okay, so that's 2 days.
Well, I started it on my stream and then I went to bed. I could have finished it last night.
Y'all didn't see any of that. Jesus. No, the stupid weather alert was going off on my phone and I was staring at it. That waterlogged grain may get me some more money since they don't do bushels here. Because a bushel's a bushel no matter what the weight.
I'd rather be broke than fake it. You sold your soul, I'll break it.
See how much I get. Zach of all people talking about somebody's immersion. That's 27,000. Not great. Not horrible. Not great.
She had red boots and a smile so bright. Said you play that rubber like you mean it. I said, chair, this beat's got you in it.
I don't need to go through that water.
Zydeco loving Uncle Luce's town. When that accordion sound goes round.
Did anybody actually clip that?
She took my heart and my last cigarette.
Where I went into the water? Because I didn't even see what happened.
I didn't get it. I wasn't watching in time though. I looked and seen that he was in the water.
Yeah, I didn't even see what happened. I looked down at my phone, the next thing I know, I looked up, my tractor was flying.
Her hair blowing in the bayou breeze. By sunrise, she was gone like a dream. Left nothing but a note and a tambourine. Zydeco love like a summer storm. Fast and wild, but it sure was warm. She kissed like Tabasco, burned like rum. Now I play this song till my fingers numb.
So I put that premium vegetable thing on here
Don't even know what that is.
where it cleans the potatoes or whatever.
Oh,
and
okay,
makes it-
yeah, yeah.
And basically, like if you look at it in the like the prices,
Mhm.
it's in like a different language. But I mean, it has a picture of what it is, so you know like what it is. But like it says for potatoes, like premium cart often. Something like that.
They require American and English speaking modders to put everything in French and German and all this other Brazilian, all this other shit, you know, in the mod descriptions and stuff. But yet they'll release mods that don't have to be in English.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, Lisa.
Hola, Lisa. Hello, Lisa.
Why doesn't your link work anymore? What'd you do? Go change your stuff?
No, it popped up. You talking about Noah?
But the link, when you click it, doesn't go to his page no more.
The flag burning down.
Oh, yeah, I do see that.
Cheer in the streets of some big blue town. Feels like
How don't you know if you changed your stuff or not?
truce of sin. And the ones who love this land
I think the only
can't
thing he
speak
changed was his name on Discord.
Tear down stone, rewrite the past.
If he changed his name here on YouTube also, like his @ part, that would be why.
But I still get chills when that eagle flies. And I still say thank God when I close my eyes. This ain't what it used to be. Folks traded grit for a damn TV. They mock the blood that set 'em free, while real men vanish quietly. I ain't gonna sit, I won't shut my mouth. Let the world burn, I'll ride it out. You might not stand, but I still will, even if I'm standing on that hill alone and
It's starting to lighten out there. It just got dark about 15 minutes ago. As soon as I get back to the house, that's the end of it.
it progress. I call it a shame. When boys
I got 2 hours in, so that's good
will
enough.
praise the names
Build hay.
on
Cultivated a field, sold some wheat. Still can't afford to buy any piece of damn crop. And I'm going the wrong way. Yeah, they just started getting here. Yeah, me too. I don't feel like losing power. That's too damn hot to be losing power. Wintertime, I don't care about losing power because I have gas heat. I have a radiant heater that doesn't use electric, so I don't worry about it. Not bad manners, just good. Power surgeons can, yeah. And honestly, at this point in time, I can't afford to buy that computer.
Shit, in the wintertime around here, we get bad winds. That'll knock our power out.
That's what we get here, ice storms.
And then we use a Powell stove for heat. That runs off electricity. But we have a good gas generator that's like 10,000 watts. We just run an extension cord to the window to a power strip and run the
Yeah, I just got a
heater.
I got a wall-mounted radiant gas heater. Doesn't have any fans
Oh, you
attached to it or anything, and uses a piezo ignition, so.
We can run a heater, the internet, or the router. We can run a fridge, a couple of fridges off of it, and freezers. Keep our stuff cool.
Dude, when we lose power here in the winter, I just take my fucking shit out and put it in the cab of the truck.
It doesn't get cold enough for that here in winter.
As long as it's below 40 degrees, that's all you need.
Yeah. Like snow where I live in Oregon, rare. Like southwest Oregon where I live,
Yeah.
in the valley.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna end my stream here. Y'all want to tell them bye?
Bye,
Bye,
guys.
everyone.
I appreciate y'all hanging out with me for a little over 2 hours, y'all, but I'm gonna get off here before the storm hits. We'll talk to y'all later. See you next time. Bye.